hard to see, but there is what appears to be some discoloration to some of the roofing. The shingles above the doorway are a totally different color. It looks like there may be multiple layers, and some of them at the ridges appear to be missing or just not done correctly, or maybe they used more than one type of shingle there. That concerns me. The overall exterior is brick, which is, you know, great, but I do feel like the roof is probably on its way out, and with those solar panels, it's probably a very major expense to redo the roof. You might be able to get 10 more years out of it. I couldn't guarantee it, but that's my impression from looking at it. It's hard to get a good angle on it to get it on video for you. But that's just my feeling. The HVAC looks like it's probably older than both of the other homes also. This patio area out back is nice. Got a little basketball area. I don't know if that's much interest for you or not. The wisteria, I believe it's wisteria, smells great. It's a little arbor or whatever you call that. But they are considered an invasive vine. But I think they're beautiful and they smell great. The grill is not rotted out yet, so it's functional probably, because it's gas. They're usually pretty functional. The drawers are pretty beat up at this point. I'd probably just take those out. Some of the mortar and things of that nature is a little bit rough already. But still overall usable area. More of the wisteria. And this might be one of the areas where you might be able to see the difference in color on the shingles a little bit better. They just sort of seem like they might be on their way out. I do think that's maybe a fig tree there. Sort of a small garden area. The yard is nice. Does have multiple sheds for storage and the small garage. That's a steel building. So that's a plus in my opinion. For you're not going to have any problem storing what you need to for your yard maintenance and motorcycle and maybe a car. Well, again, the bricks overall look pretty good. One area right here by the door might need a little bit of repointing, but that's pretty minor. This concrete is pretty spalled at this point, and it is cracked, but it's not a huge issue, but it's definitely showing its age. I think this type of tile is called arabesque or something like that. It looks nice. There is a small cracked area there, but be pretty easily covered with some trim, maybe a piece of quarter round or something like that. It wouldn't even be noticeable. Chandelier is decent. Coat closet, steps, hardwood floor go together well. light, very large dining room. So you can put as big of a table as you want in here. Quality of the wood floor looks to be pretty good, in my opinion. Some of this is paneling that has been painted. It is a textured ceiling, but it's interesting. I don't see any damage to it currently. The brickwork has been painted. They do have the pellet insert. It doesn't look to be, doesn't have the appropriate size shroud around it. So I'd make sure that it was installed correctly. With it being a pellet stove, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like a wood stove where the chimney area puts off so much heat. Here's the overall look of the area. It's an interesting look, somewhat appealing. I would probably just get a different size shroud for that. It does have like a bar area here, and the wine refrigerator's there. It's not exactly a tight fit. There appears to be some sort of water damage. There we go. Because the paneling is wrinkled, I don't know, swollen. And there's some water damage to the ceiling there. Maybe a slight amount of mold or discoloration on that crown molding there also. And you can see what appears to be where water dried out on the granite there. Again, it doesn't go all the way to the wall here. So just a few things with that. It looks nice. It might be a relatively easy fix, but definitely an area of concern there. It does go into the kitchen, which does look relatively recently renovated. Tiles look nice. The built-in seating for like a breakfast area is pretty nice in my opinion. I like the pass-through cabinets and the granite. The beams are just cosmetic, but it's a nice touch. Gives it the farmhouse type of look. See if I can get a light. There we go. I do believe that the cabinets, once again, are just painted. This one is electric for the cooktop and oven. Some of the hardware could probably stand to be updated. But counters are interesting looking. Actually, this counter is not on there straight any longer. I don't know if you can see that. You can probably tell from that. That can probably be fixed. I'm not going to mess with it at the moment. Well, it could definitely be fixed. It might just need to be repositioned and glued down, but I want to make sure you know that. Some potentially marijuana leaf. I'm not quite sure. Has the little basket pull-out drawers. There's a little bit of damage here. I'm not quite sure what happened. It doesn't look to be major, but probably just needs some drywall mud over it and repainted. It opens up out to the back area, so it's a nice view. Like a mud room off of the back. A lot of leaves coming in here. Looks like these are probably original tiles from the 70s. This is your laundry area. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing area, but it's, you know, totally a functional size with the shelving especially. It does appear to be several areas of discoloration, which are hard to pick up here. There we go. And it's like that on some of the walls and up around that light also. I'm not quite sure where that's coming from for sure. So, and you probably want to replace these. That's all smashed up. But definitely a functional laundry area. Half bath directly off of it. Could use some paint. A light bulb. Sorry for me being in the video. But overall, it's not a bad half bathroom there. This room is basically what I would consider an office probably. You could use it however you'd like, but that's the feeling I get for it. Could be another dining room also, depending on just how you wanted to use the areas. And maybe use that other area as another living area. Here is what I consider to be a living room. One thing I do want to mention is this flooring appears to have been recently put in. There's a pretty big gap and a step up. It's probably about 2 inches, maybe more. Something would sort of need to be done with that transition, but it has like a pocket door. So I'm not exactly sure what you could do, but the floor feels a little bit soft and not spongy, but springy. The insulation and stuff that you're seeing there, I believe, is probably coming from this attic pull down right here. I don't see any damage or anything, so I'm pretty sure that's where it comes from. Again, the walls are painted paneling. It's not drywall. I'm not quite sure why all these recliners are in this position. That is a wood stove insert. It appears to be functional. There's still wood and everything, but obviously I'd get it checked out. It's a really nice space, in my opinion. And again, it has potential for sure. A lot of space on the first floor. Refrigerator's pretty nice, but definitely on the dirtier side of things. And I believe I mentioned the cabinets are painted. I'm gonna go to the basement. Steps are very solid. But you can see it's like exposed block wall, and anybody over about 5'6" is going to hit their head unless they bend down. So that's something that's usually of importance, especially since they have some of this area finished. As I mentioned, it looks like there might have been a flooded basement situation because some of the drywall is missing, and like baseboard hasn't been replaced yet. This is obviously well, and it has a water filtration, or not filtration, but a softener system. I think I mentioned to you it smells like heating oil in the basement, or something some sort of chemical smell. Doors are missing off of there. Door missing off of this one also. There's no light in there. But it's basically your electricity breaker panel. They have a dehumidifier running that's continuous flow into the sump pump, which is a good sign that it's functional, at least now. But again, I feel like it was probably flooded here recently. Some missing here also. Water heater is definitely on the older side. Flexible piping, which I'm not a fan of. And a very large contraption for the heating system, which indicates it's probably pretty old.